If your content gets views but doesn't turn into customers, it's because of this one thing: psychology. You're missing the psychology on what makes people watch your video and literally take action to buy your product or service. So today I'm going to show you the exact audience psychology framework that took my content from literally just getting views to actually getting customers. I now have posts where I can watch the video before I press post and know for a fact that it's going to make me money. And that's not by accident, that's not by guessing, it's by design from this simple audience psychology framework. What's up, I'm Jaden. I have an audience of over 370,000 people that actually convert across accounts. And for the last couple of years, I've helped amazing entrepreneurs turn their content into client getting machines. Now, what you're about to watch for the next however long this video is gonna be an exclusive training that I had with some clients of mine. This training isn't theory, this training is actual real world tested stuff that I'm using in this exact video as we speak. Now, by the end of the training, here's what you're gonna know. You're gonna know the exact psychology principles that determines whether or not somebody watches your video and scrolls, or watches your video, clicks the link in your bio, and press buy. That's exactly what you're gonna know. So without further ado, without me yapping, without me looking at my computer still, I'm going to play the training for you, and I pray that it provides you with some value. There we go. Let's talk about audiences. Audience psychology. This is PSYCH. There we go. Audience psychology. So when it comes to audience psychology, there are a couple main things literal off rip that we need to be thinking about. And the reason that audience psychology is important is because a lot of us get into the headspace of, okay, I'm making this content, I'm doing this, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, I'm following this guide, right? I'm following the template that Jaden gave me, but you forget that your audience is still going to be the ones interacting with this content, whether it be your stories, your landing pages, the posts that you're actually making. And so here are the first 3 things off rip that you need to be thinking about actively with every step of the content creation process. So number 1 is relevance. And excuse me, if my spelling is off, I dropped out. So yeah, we're just gonna say that. There we go. So relevance. When it comes to relevance, number 1, is this relevant to our audience, right? Is this something that they're currently going through, right? In any phase. So I know, for example, Ben is very much into fitness, number 1, as well as health in general. So is this something that is actually relevant to them? Him coming on there talking about shoes may not be as relevant to his audience. He may like that type of content, right? He may watch that type of content on his own, but that doesn't mean that it's in the audience's best interest, because we have to understand the audience psychology. And the reason that I put this as our first group call is for the simple fact that if we get this wrong, everything else that I teach you guys will go to shit. Simple as that. And so we actively need to think about this, as well as I'm going to give you some really dope homework that you may not have thought about, or may. So that's number 1. And boom. So that's the first thing that we need to think about when it comes to audience psychology. The second thing that we need to think about when it comes to audience psychology is, do they need to hear this? And when I say, well, obviously it's in the name, but when I say, do they need to hear this? So this goes for everybody here who's creating more so talking head videos. With these talking head videos, do they actually need to hear what the hell you're talking about? And I fell into this trap a while back, and it actually hurt my engagement because I wasn't thinking about the audience first. I was thinking more so about myself and what I wanted to make, what I felt was easy to create, rather than thinking about what my audience cares about, which I'll actually dive deeper into later, but what my audience cares about, as well as do they even need to hear what I'm talking about in the first place? So for me to get on my social media, just to give a lot of you reference, me getting on my social media, talking constantly about editing tips, is that really what my audience wants to hear? If they want to create content that converts, editing is a part of it, but me making every video about editing, about a damn CapCut tip, is that what they need to hear? 9 times out of 10, the answer when we all ask ourselves this is no. And so now we have to literally reframe everything, flip everything upside down to talk about things that they actually need to hear, which is why It's very imperative that we all, one of the first things that we do is fill out the 3 Fs and the 3 Ds. I know Monica has done it. I know Ben has done it. I'm not sure if Nav has done it. If not, that will be a part of your homework tonight. Um, and for anybody watching this on the recording, if you haven't done it, please do that. What the 3 Fs and the 3Ds are, just to bring some totality to it, is filling out what are the top 3 frustrations and desires of your audience, because that will actively give you a sense of what is it that they need to hear, as well as it will bring it whole to the relevance of your content, because it has to make sense. And then the third thing, which is ties relevance and do they need to hear this together, is filler. And what I mean by that is, are they going to consider this piece of content a filler piece of content? That's very important for a lot of reasons, but excuse me. One of the main reasons it's important because if your audience feels like, and again, we're going back to the audience psychology, if your audience feels like all of your content is filler content, they will start to disengage or de-engage, whatever the opposite of engage is. They will start to do the opposite of that. And every time your piece of content pops up, they will literally almost block it out. They will block it out and they will scroll past it because automatically you've allowed them to associate with your brand. Because remember, a brand is literal just association. So you've allowed them now to associate your brand with just filler, aka a bunch of BS that they don't need to hear about that's not relevant to them. And so like these are the 3 main things that before we do anything, we need to talk about. Cool. Well, think about. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Bada bing, bada boop. All right. So now we can get into the tactical things that everybody needs to hear about. If you've been following me for some time, you've heard me talk about, oh Lord, I told you I dropped out. Give me a second. There we go. Every 5 rule. You've heard me talk about the every 5 rule. Now, if you've never heard me talk about that, it means that every 5 seconds in your piece of content, something different needs to happen. Whether it's a transition, whether it's the captions popping up, whether it's you changing locations, whether it's something in the video needs to change. And the reason I brought this up is because now we need to be considering this more than ever, because that every 5 rule is now turning into the every 3 rule. AKA, we need to be able to get our audience's attention, keep their attention throughout the entire piece of content. Now, what we're not going to do is hyper edit. What we're not going to do is hyper edit. And the reason we aren't going to hyper edit, bang, is for the simple fact that hyper edits mean nothing in a positive way. And when I say they mean nothing in a positive way, I mean that nowadays in 2024 and in late 2023 and pretty much from now on, if you have a hyper edited video, your audience automatically, number one, groups you in a specific column of people, because that column of people who usually do hyper edits, and if y'all see me looking here, I'm looking at y'all on the screen, by the way. Usually they group you into a category of people who do hyper edits, and 9 times out of 10, if you do hyper edits, you don't have anything important to say, so therefore you're overcompensating on the editing end with your editing, if that makes sense. And so now we need to be able to bring it back and actually do the every 3 rule, I have to call it now, with our words and with simple edits. How do we do that? We do that by, and this is a small side note of everything that we're actually talking about today. We do that with structure. We do that with structure. And the reason we do that with structure, and if you're like, Jaden, well, what freaking structure do I use? Literally go into the classroom. Literally go into the classroom. I have 3 videos about it. One being a viral video structure. The other one just going deeper into engagement styles of content and authority building content, which all have structures. And when I say structures, I mean what is the spine of your video? Right? Because a lot of us, we just put this stuff together. And so now it's like, okay, well, where's the hook? Where's the lead? Where's the call to action? Things of that nature. There are specific structures that we all should follow. And I have some really dope stuff coming for you guys as well. Just a little spice nugget. You are about to get 15 brand new templates of things that you can literally just take from me and just do on yourself without you having to watch a long video of explaining it. Because I know you guys are like, yo, my time, I got you. By the end of this week as well, I'll keep you guys up to date. Not sure if you want me to drip them in the classroom. I'll actually let's do a poll now since it's only three of you. Do you guys, for all of these new templates, would you rather me drip them out throughout the week? Like, okay, cool, this template's done, release it, or would you guys like at the end of the week just have all 15 templates dropped? You can speak up whenever, by the way.
I'd go all 15. I reckon
Okay,
would be the best way.
so we have
Yeah.
one for all
Yeah,
15.
yeah. At the end of the week, 15 would be good.
Boom.
Monica,
Okay,
you're on
well.
mute.
Cool. Majority vote. That's why I like small groups. Majority vote. Okay, so at the end of this week, and I'll actually read off a couple that I want to give you guys. So obviously, you're getting brand new scripting templates, and what I mean by that is literally a complete template towards all you have to do is just fill in your words. Like you have every. It's almost insane. So that's a scripting
Is that
template.
for, yeah,
What were you saying? Go ahead.
that's for posts, right? Like
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just read off the list. Ideation, scripting, more ManyChat. I've already given you guys ManyChat. I have a couple more coming for you to make it 10x easier for you. Your dream target audience, some more call to actions, some more hooks, some more target audience stuff like, yo, where the F are they? Just making it easier for you guys to find your target audience and speak to them to just generate like infinite traffic from your content. Some studio setup stuff for a lot of you who want to change up your things. What else? Some recording checklists and templates. So therefore, when you're actually recording, you can follow something to make it worth your time and you're not just BSing yourself. And we got a couple more in there that are very, very impactful. Anyways, sorry to get off topic. I got y'all. I just had to let y'all know that I got y'all. This is about to be dope. Anyways, we need to be able to follow structure. I have structures coming, and there are also more structures inside of the classroom. But us following structures allows us to get rid of hyper edits and allows us to automatically help with the every three rule. Now, here are the things that I would recommend doing for the every three rule. Now, if you want to go and do hyper edits, you're grown, you have your own team, do what you do. Here's what I would recommend. Automatically, I would recommend switching angles. And this is an easy way that is kind of easier on your editing process as well. And when I say switching angles, I mean I have this angle here. I could literally just take the camera, put it right there, and now I have this angle. And it's a subtle thing that the audience subconsciously notices. They may not be like, "Oh, he switched angles," but they will subconsciously notice, and it will allow them to refocus their attention in what you're saying. I know I reviewed a couple of Ben's pieces of content, and he does this really well, right? He may be at the couch, then he switches to the kitchen. Little things like that to where the audience isn't going to be like, "Oh my God," but it's a subtle change that helps them with the every three rule. So that's that, as well as everybody knows this, captions. Um, captions. Yeah, I spelled that right. Captions. Literally just having captions on your videos helps it a F ton. And then last but not least, just having context. And so this isn't hyper editing, but having context with everything you're saying in the format. And what I mean by that is if I'm talking about a specific movie clip, let's actually just do a split screen, which is one of the formats that I could teach you guys about. Let's just do a split screen with me at the top and then the movie clip at the bottom. Just to make it easier for you. Like these three things, very easy for the every three rule. Now, here is where things start to get spicy that a lot of us forget and that a lot of people mess up. And these, let me see, one, two, three main things that I'm about to talk about with deep points is actually the make or break between your video performing well and you growing a long audience and getting just infinite traffic from your content. The first one is understanding the scrolling psychology. So I'll actually name this scrolling. BSYCH. Bang. So There's a scrolling psychology. And actually, let me break it down for you. So here's the scenario. Your audience is on their homepage. They're literally on their homepage. They just seen X video, Y video, Z video, and then your video. They're actively scrolling on their homepage, or if they're on TikTok, there is the For You page. We have to understand the scrolling psychology. So here's what I mean by the scrolling psychology. And I was actually going to write, but it didn't make sense to write. So first, we need to understand what the video before yours looked like. So before. The video before yours, 9 times out of 10, was very engaging. And I love to use the cat video example. And I'll just fill it in. I love to use the cat video example because you have to understand, and we always want to think with every single video that we are making, okay, if somebody happened to come across my video while scrolling, right? So usually this goes for the people who already follow you because, well, aside from TikTok, if we're talking about Instagram, this goes for the people who are already following you because if they aren't following you, you won't pop up on the homepage. And then the next one I'm going to talk about is going to allow for TikTok For You page and then Instagram Explore page. But while focusing on this one, number one, we have to understand that the video right before ours was very, very engaging. Also, it left them with satisfaction. And when I say satisfaction, I mean they felt complete after watching the piece of content, right? They got what they came for. They got the promise that was promised in the hook, right? So if the cat video was like, watch my cat fall from 20 stories or whatever, by the end of the video, they've seen the cat fall 20 stories and they've got some satisfaction from it because the creator or the entrepreneur, whoever made the video, actually fulfilled on their promise. So that's what happened before they see your piece of content. Now they scroll and it's you. Here's what we don't want. We don't want low engagement, which means we don't want to just be on there talking boring, right? If we're doing talking heads, we don't want to be on there. Yeah, guys, so, just another Tuesday, just another Monday. And then we got one caption that pops up every 20 seconds. Yeah, guys, have a great day. We're back at it with another part 72. Low engaging, right? Because you have to think, again, we're talking about scrolling psychology. So before your video, they just got everything they wanted in a piece of content. Then comes your video and they're getting the quite opposite, which means they are itching. They're itching to scroll. And the reason they're itching to scroll is because you've done nothing to serve them. So now, and this goes for every piece of content we make. So now, how do we fix that? So therefore we can compete with that. Easy, light work. Let's do it. So number one, again, going back to structure. So we want to make sure our structure is correct, but not alone. Well, I guess I'll do some check marks, but not just the structure, right? Because the structure is just the spine. You still need the flesh, you still need the veins, still need the brain, you still need everything else, the skin, like everything that operates with the backbone. So along with the structure, we want to make sure that our hook has 3 touch points. And I actually talk about this in the hook breakdown in the video. We want to make sure our hooks have 3 touch points. These 3 touch points being the context, aka whatever we're saying has to have an image of what we're talking about. So if Nav is talking about a damn hot dog, I want to see a hot dog on the screen. Or better yet, if you have a hot dog to showcase inside the video. See, a lot of us, we automatically go with, when it comes to, and I'll break this down, when it comes to context, we only think, is my handwriting bad? Is it, can you read that? Okay, I had to make sure, I'm sorry. A lot of us, when it comes to context, we only think editing rather than us actually, and this is just a little bit more work on your part, right? Depending on how much time you have and depending on truly how much effort you want to put in. we forget about the in-person context. We forget about the in-person context. So it's not all about the editing. It's kind of dope to do some in-person context. And what I mean by that is, for example, I've done countless videos, and these are the videos that go the most viral, right? But they do take a little bit more time and a little bit more effort because you have to actively showcase stuff. So I've done multiple videos to where I'm unboxing things. I'm unboxing the actual thing that I'm talking about. So if I'm giving you guys a microphone recommendation, instead of me just showing the microphone screenshots, videos on the Amazon cart, whatever, let me actually show you guys me unboxing the microphone. Better yet, if Ben is talking about X amount of calories, and he's like, yo, spinach has X amount of calories versus pizza, he can literally hold up some spinach, hold up a slice of pizza, and it will mean more in the piece of content, which then just plays back into our 3 touch points. So that's there we go. So that's one of the touch points. The other touch point, and I'll actually context. Boom. The other touch point is our actual words. And so when these come across, and you guys will see this in your brand new templates that's coming, words or verbal. There we go. You guys will actively get help with this in your new templates and when you guys book your one-on-one calls. But the reason that the touch point of your words is so important is because even though over 70 to 75% of people scrolling, right, and this is a real statistic, are scrolling with the audio off, even though they're scrolling with the audio off, you still want to be able to impact them if they have the audio on. It's almost double rewarding. And so our words and our verbal hook needs to be really good, or not even the hook. The first half of the video, our words need to be impactful. And we do that just by simply and hold on, let me make this longer. We do that with tone. And so I love to do this, and I've even A/B tested this, right? So everything I'm telling you guys, I've A/B tested, and they make a real impact on the content that you're creating and the amount of traffic that you're able to drive from it, the tone. So, and a lot of people overlook this, but tone being boom, 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 slow down or speed up. And the reason that this impacts is because it allows them you almost are able to manipulate your audience in a good way. You're able to manipulate your audience for them to focus on X, Y, and Z or defocus on this. So for you, all you need to do is if you want to speed up, right? Speed up if it's non-important. Slow down if you want them to focus on whatever the point you're saying is. So for example, if I hopped on a video, right, and I'll do a little live demonstration. If I hopped on a video and I said, I just made $3,000 in the last 5 minutes. I said it so fast that it almost doesn't sound important, right? I'll give you another example. Let me show you guys how to get your first property in real estate. It doesn't really sound important rather than if I slow it down and emphasize certain words, right? So I made $1,000 in the last 30 seconds. It sounds more important. Let me show you how to get your first property in real estate. It sounds more important because I want them to focus on that point. And so, for example, then when it's less important and it's almost just a sentence, it's a filler sentence within the piece of content. And you're like, yeah, so then I have to tie my shoes. You wouldn't slow down on that point because then they'll be focused on, well, why did he want to tie shoes? And then it loses importance of your piece of content. Then it seems like filler content rather than you speeding up like, yo, then I had to tie my shoes, etc. You wouldn't slow down and be like, then I had to tie my shoes because that point seems important. But if it's not relevant to what the entirety of the piece of content is, you lose them. Again, audience psychology, we have to think about what they're actively thinking about while watching our piece of content. So that's that. And then our last touch point just being our title hook. Also have a video inside the classroom about the title hook. Very important. A lot of people F this up, but it's a work in progress for everybody. I won't dive too deep into it because we got to continue. So That's the scrolling psychology. We have to understand that, these two things need to be on point. Well, technically it's 4 because it's 3 touch points, but these two things need to be on point when scrolling because they just watched the most perfect video before yours. And if we want them to be able to stop scrolling and watch our single piece of content that could get them into our ecosystem and literally get them to buy when they watch more content, we have to be able to master these two things. Cool? So that's the scrolling psychology. Now once we have the scrolling psychology, we actually have the stumble. Oop, there we go. Stumble. MPSCH. There we go. So now we have the stumble psychology, which literally in the name means they stumbled upon your piece of content. And so what this looks like for TikTok and for IG is for TikTok, this is the For You page. Because on the For You page, you get shown other people's content that you are not following. On Instagram, this is the Explore page. Explore page. There we go. So the TikTok For You page needs all of these things. Every single thing that I'm talking about from now forward and that I just got done talking about really needs these things. So what I want to do is I'm actually just going to dive deeper into Instagram's Explore page because it has a better return on investment if somebody actively clicks on your video. So what it looks like, there we go. So they're on the Explore page. It now looks like this. So this is a reel. This is another reel. And then these are posts. And these posts are mix of reels as well as photos. They're on the Explore page. They have to actively choose to click on your piece of content, which changes the entirety of how it needs to be, how it needs to look. So now we have to think about these couple things. Number one, and let me actually, I guess I'll make this a different color. Number one, we need to make sure that our thumbnail is on point. So let me actually write that down. There we go. Thumbnail. Bang. We need to make sure our thumbnail is on point. A lot of people skip over the thumbnail on Instagram, and it's very, very important. I'll tell you a couple things to not do when it comes to your thumbnail on Instagram. Number one, the 1 second method. What the 1 second method is what a lot of people do with their Instagram reels. Since they want a cool thumbnail, they will design a thumbnail, right? Whether they screenshot, do a little Photoshop, they'll design a thumbnail and they'll put it as like a little millisecond or 1 second clip at the beginning of the video. So therefore, when they upload it to Instagram, they can just drag to that piece of content. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's the 1 second method. Don't do that. Here's why you don't want to do that. Yes, it does, you can control what the thumbnail looks like, but what we don't want is for them to actually click on the video because, again, we have to think from our audience's perspective. If I clicked on this video and I just seen a whole second or a millisecond of what the thumbnail looks like and I'm not actively watching the piece of content, I'm thrown off and I'm scrolling off immediately. And now every time another one of your pieces of content pops up, I automatically think about that one time where I tried to click on it. I felt enticed to click on it, but I didn't instantly get any reward for clicking on your piece of content. It throws your audience off and it doesn't do good. That's one thing you don't need to do when it comes to your thumbnail. Another thing is no context. So when I say context in this sense, I'm speaking differently than when I said context here. Just this is different. When I say no context, they are looking, right? They're looking at your profile on the Explore page. I hope you like my drawing, by the way, and I hope you're able to visualize this. But they're looking at your post on the Explore page against all of these other 3, 4, all of these other posts. They're looking at yours. They see the thumbnail. It makes them turn their head, but they don't know what your piece of content is about. So if they don't know what your piece of content is about, they won't click on it. And if they don't click on it, they won't watch it. And if they won't watch it, you don't get the view, you don't get that lead. And so when I say no context, I mean that means you don't have a title, the screenshot that you used, or the piece of whatever screenshot that you used for your thumbnail doesn't align with what the actual video means or is talking about. And so therefore it's just a dud at that point. Here's what you should do. Here's what your thumbnails should look like. And I'll speak from a term of a talking head. So there we go. So let's say this is your video, right? And this is you. I hope you like my my drawing. So off rip, one of the best ways, and honestly, like the only way that can just set you apart from everybody else, is your title hook, which is why I dive deep into title hooks and why they're also important, because use them as your thumbnails. If you go to my entire Instagram, and if you go to a lot of people's Instagrams who are like, who have good engagement, whose videos actually turn into dollars for their business, you'll see that they use title hooks as their thumbnails. But a main thing with title hooks that a lot of people miss is the placement, because you have to think about the thumbnail while, again, you have to think about the audience psychology. So there are only 2 places that I will put the title hook. And I guess I will use, so placement 1, place number 1, or place number 2. There are only two places that I would use my title hooks. The first one being right above my head. The reason I would do a title hook right above my head, especially for thumbnail purposes, is just for the simple fact that we do what? We read top to bottom, left to right. So therefore, if that's the first thing that they see is a big title hook about what the video is about, intriguing them, making them ask them a question, making them want to click on our video and watch that piece of content, if we put it at the top, it's easy access for them. A second way that the second placement that I would do for the title hook is actually at your chest area. And the only reason I would do it, the only time I would place it at the chest area is if in your video, you recorded your video and your head is all the way at the top. So if this becomes the top of your video, then I would do your placement here, because usually here is where the captions are. And it allows your audience to focus on the title and you at the same time. Does that make sense? So those are the only 2 places that I would literally place the title. But along with the title, it actually needs to be intriguing, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is for the thumbnail. Right, so hold on, let me actually, boom, title. The second thing that a lot of people get wrong is just a clear subject. So for us doing talking heads, right, or if you're mainly doing talking heads, having a clear subject is key. A big thing that I would do is, along with this subject, if you actually provided context, which now I'm speaking about context in this sense. So this right here, that in person, or if you did the editing, no problem. If you actually provided context, I would make that your clear subject. So for example, back to the Ben example, if he talked about spinach calories versus pizza calories, and that was a part in his video and he held both of them up, I would rather see that as a thumbnail than him at the beginning in the middle of his talk. Yes, the title helps, but if you also have that context, which is just another touch point of the thumbnail in and of itself, it makes it so much better. So that's that. But then comes YouTube. And I know you're like, well, Jay, you ain't talk about YouTube for the first one. It's not as relevant. This right here makes all the difference for YouTube, which honestly is just comprised of 2 main things. So let's say this is your YouTube thumbnail. We want, and excuse my drawing once again, and it doesn't have to be in this order. You can flip it. We want our subject and then our context. So subject, and then we want our context. And our context being very similar to short form. Every principle that I teach you goes along with long form and short form. When I say subject, I mean you or whatever you're talking about in the video. 9 times out of 10 for us, we're building personal brands. We need you big, clear as day, because we need to know, we need to be able to see the expert that is going to be helping us. Number one. Number two, context being you can do text or you could just do images. A lot of people right now, and this is a big, I guess you can call it a trend that's going on, but a lot of people are turning for YouTube at least, they're turning what they would use as text or title hooks for Instagram and TikTok. They're turning those into Twitter quotes. Oh, Twitter quotes. They're turning those into Twitter quotes, screenshotting the Twitter quote unquote quote, and then using that as their context. Don't believe me? Go and look at Alex Hormozy's literal last X amount of videos. This stuff works, and it's important because if we don't get past this, I know this is more of a boring-esque topic, and trust me, it's gonna get real fire real soon. But I have to go over this because if we don't at least understand this on a surface level, we're effed for everything else that I'm going to teach you. So that's why this is important. I know it's a little bit boring, but let's go. So that is the stumbling psychology. Now, here's where a lot of people F up big time because they don't consider, and I'll just start a new page. They don't consider the after the They don't consider the after the follow. They forget that, okay, cool. My video's good, right? My video's good. I got these new people. They stumbled upon me. They found me on the Explore page. They scrolled past my video, whatever. But now, after they followed me, when my videos pop up, now what do they think? Now, how are they? Because here's the thing. And again, audience psychology. Your ideal target audience interacts with your videos completely different after they follow you than before they followed you. And it's because they're going to constantly expect these 3 things. So they need, well, here's the reason that they followed you. I'll say, I'll use black. So reason number 1 that they followed you, well, there are 3 main reasons, but reason number 1 that they followed you is because they see impact. They see/saw impact in what you have. Whether it's the product that you were talking about, whether it's the principle that you shared within a piece of content, the tip, the hack, whatever that piece of content was, they seen it and they saw impact in it. And if they saw impact in it before they followed you, which may have gotten them to follow you, they're going to expect it after. But how do we make sure we continue to give impact? It's as simple as this. And I don't want to seem like I'm oversimplifying it, but it's as simple as this. Constantly creating impact for the person who has already followed you. It's as simple as this. New value. Simple as that. How do we bring new value, though, constantly? We don't have bang. What we don't want is Googleable content. So everything that we've said in X piece of content, we don't want our audience to be able to just go and Google it. Because if they can go and Google it, that means we're not providing enough value. Simple as that. So how do we consistently give new value without having Googleable content? Only talk from experience. Only talk from experience. Because if you're speaking from experience in your piece of content, then only you can talk about that because it's your experience. And the best part about it is, okay, somebody may have learned the same lesson from their experience, right? That you're talking about in your video, but the difference is you have your POV. And what I mean by that is if two different people watched a car crash, they've experienced it completely different. One person saw somebody break their arm in the car. The other person just saw the baby in the backseat. They have two totally different point of views. So therefore, use your point of view from your experience and the lessons that you've learned and what you do to give yourself the edge, and with the edge being the new value that you're providing. Now, that's how you consistently bring impact and have impact once somebody follows you. Always speak from new experience. Another thing, and another reason to consistently have really good impact is speak from principles. Speak from principles. A lot of us, excuse me, a lot of us have the habit, I would call it, of actively talking about what we do, which in a lot of videos, that's good. Keep doing that. Not all of them. And what I mean by that is talk about the principles that allows your audience to get to the next level for them to then need your product. I spoke to Monica about this shortly, and here's exactly what I mean by that. So these are steps, by the way. I hope you do this. Okay. So let's say here is your ideal target audience. What a lot of us are doing, and yeah, I'll keep it right there. What a lot of us are doing is we, through our content, are trying to have our target audience jump all the way to step number 4 and then have them buy our product and engage. And we're trying to talk to them as if we just need them to just skip over steps 2 and 3 and get straight to 4. We're doing it wrong. We need to allow our content to speak in principles. And by principles, I mean, we need our content, right? If this is one person, they're watching your video, they're watching Nav. And so then Nav's video talks about a principle that allows them to go from 1 to 2. And then they keep watching Nav's content. And then Nav talks about new principles that allows them to go from 2 to 3. And then he continues to talk about principles that allows them to go from 3 to 4. And so now that they're at 4, they've worked their way up to 4. They understand why they're at 4. They've gone through the journey through content, because a lot of people, I need you guys to understand that your content needs to be the journey of your audience, which is, again, why we go all the way back to the very beginning, why I said it needs to be relevant. They need to they need to hear it, right? Like, think, do they need to hear this? Is this relevant to them? And make sure it's not filler content. Everything else that you want to post that on your stories, because it disappears and it allows you to show them that you are a human. I'll talk about that in another training. But now your content has taken them from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Once they are at 4, now they can buy the product that you were trying to sell them at 1. Now, Jaden, I need to make some, listen, my business needs to track and they need to make some money right now. Here's the thing. It's so much easier if, okay, cool, your content, and I'll switch colors again. Your content, boom, takes them from 1 to 2. If you have something to share with them at 2, and then once your content takes them from 2 to 3, if you have a product to give to them or share to them at 3, then by the time it goes from 3 to 4, and they're ready for your big bucks product, they've already had more than 11 touch points with you. And here's the thing about content. And again, I'm going to be explaining this throughout our entire year of us having these calls. We need to make sure that we have 7-11. 7 hours of content, 11 touch points. 11 touch points. Now, these touch points can be through pieces of content. So, for example, let's do some booty math. Okay, cool. So let's say it took Nav and My bad, I'm singling you out. You're at the top of my screen. But let's say it took him 3 pieces of content to help them go from 1 to 2. Then another 3 from 2 to 3. Then another 3 from, so cool, 3 times 3, that's 9. And then you had a product along every way, that's 11. 11 touch points that they need to have, that they need to be with you. Now, that's if you are in a rush of like, yo, I need my product to make I need to be able to generate money. If you are on the slower end and you're like, yo, I'm able to live off of what I'm making over here, you can just have these be freebies. Give these away as freebies. And it ups your goodwill with them as well. Because then the more goodwill we have by the time, oh, dang, I just looked at it. This looked like chicken scratch. I'm sorry, but if we give away the freebies for each step, by the time they're at 4, when we do make that big ask on our piece of content or on our stories, they're more than likely to jump on it because obviously their psychology is, yo, well, shit, from steps 1 to 3, he just gave me all of this amazing free content plus some more free products that I should have paid for. Of course, I'm going to buy your $3,000. Of course, I'm going to buy your $5,000, your $6,000 program or service. It's audience's psychology. So that's that. That's that. So then we have to also think the second reason, the second reason they're following us is because they just, there we go. I won't even write out this whole sentence. They hope to see us again. Yo, I seen this piece of content. Nav posted it. Hold on, I'll use somebody else. Monica posted this piece of content. I just hope to see her again. I just hope to continue to see what she's posting. Which means, and this also goes to number 3, which means that you were likable. Which means that you were either likable or relatable. How do we make sure that we are either of these things? Easy, light work. Number 1, make sure that your content has relevance to them. That's obviously the no-brainer. Make sure our content has relevance, to them. Second thing that a lot of people don't think about, and because we've been conditioned so much to look and feel like robots when we make content, is personality. So for me, and this is a quick tip that any of you could use in any style of content that you're producing. For me, I always have little burst out moments. So for example, I might be recording a video and I might hear something out the window and I might be like, dang, was the lawnmower loud today? I'll keep that in my video because people relate to that because then they feel like, well, cool, this isn't, even though it might be a scripted video, they automatically feel like it's not a scripted video. And then I'm just talking to them and I'm spending time with them virtually because I almost broke the third wall and I showed them my personality. Now they understand that I'm a human being. Keep those little things in your content. So that's that. Those are honestly the main 2 ways that I would do that. And then the third way is it kind of goes back to relating things to them. But yeah, I guess I'll do that. Back to them. And when I say back to them, a really, 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 really good and easy way, which a lot of you can implement now today, that I also use within the skeleton that I'll tell you guys about in the classroom, which is just telling them what they're thinking. If you tell them what they're thinking, they automatically like you more. Here's what I mean by that. And this is just a quick example. I love this example as well. I'm about to show you how to make a velvet cake in the next 30 seconds. Or better yet, I got you. I'm going to share with you guys my grandma's recipe to making a red velvet cake in the next 30 seconds. Cool, that's my hook. Tell them what they're thinking to automatically become likable and relatable. Bless you, Ben. Which means, cool, I've given them my hook. Now I can say something like, and I know you think that, can't nobody cook like your grandma, but watch what my grandma can do. Tell them what they're thinking. Actively tell them what they're thinking. I'll give a real life example as well. Let's say Ben hops on there and he's like, yo, I'm about to show you how this workout can help you cut your stress in half. And I already know what you're thinking. Working out can cut my stress in half? Absolutely. Here's what we need to do. Tell them what they're thinking. Because when we come with our content, when we come in with our content and we're trying to help them get from steps 1 to 2, they automatically kind of shrivel up and bag up because they're used to people not helping them. They're used to people lying to them, especially if you're like in the financial space. Like, wait a minute. I've seen all of these lies, all these people telling me I can do this with credit. I can do this with this. I can save an extra $1 million a year by doing this. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the people steering me in the wrong direction. So automatically, they're going to be shielded when they see your video. If you just tell them what they're thinking in each piece or in each main value pillar of their your piece of content, you automatically break down those walls and you become more likable and relatable. You can even do this just by playing off of time. So, for example, something that I would do, I'd be like, I'm going to show you how to double your views in the next 60 seconds. And if you think I'm lying about me telling you guys how to do this in the next 60 seconds, here's a timer. I just told them what they were thinking, and I just destroyed whatever disbelief that they had. You think I can't do this in 60 seconds. I know that. So I'm going to tell you that you think I can't do this in 60 seconds, and I'm going to show you that I can. So that's that. Those are the 3 things and the 3 main reasons as to why people follow us. And by us, I mean us as authorities within our space. So when we loop all of this together, so when we think about the scrolling psychology, when we think about them stumbling up on us, when we think about what it feels like after, or what it should feel like after they already follow us and our videos pop up again, we need all of those things to work together. Which brings me to the homework. Oh, Jane, you gave me homework. It's easy. It's light work. You can do it. So here's the homework. Very, very easy homework. So there are 1, 2, 3 steps to this homework. 1, 2, 3. Number 1 is create a Finsta account. Jaden, what is a Finsta account? It's a fake Instagram account. With this fake Instagram account, right? And well, I won't call it fake. It's just another Instagram account that's not you. So Ben, don't make an Instagram and call it Ben Moore. Go make an Instagram and make the username Josh Burns or something like that. It shouldn't be you. It's not Ben. There's a whole different identity. With this new Finsta account, what we're going to do is follow all the people your target audience will follow. So for example, okay, cool. Let me dive deep and let me think about my ideal target audience. Who would they be following? Cool. They'll be following Alex Hormozy. They'll be following this guy, this guy, this guy, this lady, this lady, this lady, this person. They'll be following all of these people. With this new Finsta account, you go and follow them. Once you follow all of those people, including yourself, you need to be one of the first people, including yourself, and cut on your post notifications. Because if you didn't know this, if you go and cut on post notifications for somebody, their videos pop up more because obviously you've shown interest to seeing their piece of content. So with this new Finsta, follow yourself along with everybody else that your new target audience would go and follow, and then follow yourself too. The third thing that you're going to do is you're going to spend an hour. You're going to spend an hour on the Explore page to see exactly what it's like to be your target audience. And the reason you're going to do this is because, number 1, since you followed yourself and all the other people that your target audience would follow, your Explore page now looks like their Explore page. So you can now see what's popping up. Cool. My video looks like this against this video. My video looks like this against this one. My post, my regular picture, my carousel looks like this against this one. And now you can see, oh, I see what Jaden was talking about. My video doesn't look engaging. Like I don't have a good thumbnail compared to this video. So my target audience will automatically click on this one versus mine's, which explains why I'm not getting more non-followers to my videos than regular followers. Does that make sense? If you've made it this far, first of all, I just want to say congratulations. And second of all, now you know the exact psychology, the psychological stuff that goes behind what makes content convert, what makes people watch your video, go to your link in bio and press buy. Now you know that from this simple video that took however long it took you to watch it. That training is just a small piece of what we do for our clients. We actually install our entire content growth engine into our clients' businesses. And if that's something that you're interested in as you are a high ticket online entrepreneur, then by all means, please click one of the first links inside of the description. Not a hard sell, that's just me letting you know. But I genuinely hope and pray that this video provided you with some value. Here is your homework. This is the homework that I gave all of my students in that video. I want you to go to your Instagram and create a Finsta. That stands for fake Insta. To make a fake account, an account that is completely separate from your identity. And what I want you to do with that account is follow the exact same people that your ideal audience would follow. Now, the entire goal of that is to go to that account and just act like you are one of your audiences. That is the biggest issue. Most of you don't even know what it feels like to be in your audience's shoes. And so it's hard to make content that actually replicates that. So that is exactly what I want you to do. Every day for 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, just scroll on that page and act as if you are your client and watch how your content changes. If this video was somewhat valuable to you, hit the subscribe button and come back to my next video and thank me later.